Okay, welcome to another episode of the Valley Boys. I don't know what it is, 21, 22. No one gives a shit. Join with us is my stupid sidekick slash assistant, Brandon Collins. He's over there in his, what is that, his sex dungeon, some kind of registered pervert lair.
Yeah, you've been there before many times.
We're not getting into that because I am so sick of everybody thinking that we are a homosexual couple. Not that I have a problem with people thinking that. It's just, it's not true. That's not us. And you keep perpetuating that. So knock it off. Who cares about Brandon? Join with us. We've got comedian, one of my favorites, Jessica Kirson. Jessica,
You're already making me laugh. You're already making me laugh. Like I just laughed like 4 times, which is very rare.
Good. Well, you know, everyone's standards are lowering because of the quarantine.
That's true.
Spread out. Everyone's got the COVID-19 these days, you know, getting a little frisky in the DMs. You getting any of that going?
Sometimes guys send me a dick pic, but and then there's like always a straight girl who's like, "You're my inspiration." I'm like, "Who cares? Like, just leave me the fuck alone. I can barely function. I don't care if I'm your inspiration. I should be no one's inspiration right now because I'm barely getting out of bed."
Yeah, well, I mean, that's doing a lot better than some of these people. I can safely say that no one has ever reached out to me and say that I'm an inspiration. And like
I'll
here I
confirm
am
that.
drinking at 3:30 in the afternoon. We like to get a little drunk when we do this because we're disgusting. Well, Brandon is.
Yeah, I'm actually nursing a hangover right now, so I'm doing the responsible thing and rehydrating here a little bit.
I can't get over that garage. For those that can't see it, he's got some dildos everywhere. There's some chains hanging from the ceiling. Like gross, dude. At least you have a light on. I don't know if that's a good thing for us.
Well, we didn't have any of that stuff until you came over. You spruced the place up a little bit with some of your toys.
Putting it all back on me.
Yeah,
I'm glad that we agree that it's you. Anyway,
on you and you.
Jessica, if it's all right, your brother's doing pretty good. He's got that new Netflix show. What is it called? Where he goes around the world and he's being Zach. You know, what's that show called?
No,
Brandon,
he doesn't
Brandon,
have
what am I thinking
show.
of? Brandon, that show where he travels around, Zach Galifianakis, your brother.
No, that's not him. It's Galifianakis, but that's not my stepbrother.
Oh, so Zach. Oh, I remember your brother now. He's the guy, teen heartthrob. Zach, he was in Saved by the Bell, right? Zach Morris.
No. He was never in Saved by the Bell. He did movies early on, like when he was a kid, but he was not in that show.
Are you sure it's not Zac Efron? I'm pretty sure your stepbrother is Zac Efron.
No, I would absolutely know. If it were Zac Efron, he would have turned me straight if he were my stepbrother.
Zach Braff is your brother.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Okay. I knew it was one of the Zachs, and there's only 3, so.
I know. I was trying. Can you think of another? I can't even think of another one.
Those are the 3. There was a kid down the street named Zach, the rat-tailed kid. Dirty face all the time. It might have been your brother, actually.
No, he didn't. He doesn't have a dirty face.
No, well, not anymore. He cleaned up and he made that one movie. Didn't he play? There was a Zach on the LA Kings. Wasn't he a hockey player?
No, he's not an athlete. He was like a theater kid.
Okay, I don't know.
Yeah, and he's not that tall. He's not. Yeah.
Oh no, you dish in the dirt. What is he? 5'6"?
No, he is pretty. He's like 6. What is he like? 5'11", 6 feet.
Oh, there's a big difference between the two. That's a thing going around.
He might be 5'7". I don't even know. I don't know.
Right on. So, Jessica, I wanted to ask you, how's your stand-up special doing?
Nothing. It was on.
Aired and that was it?
It aired once. This is what Comedy Central does. It aired once. I mean, it was incredible because it was produced by Bill Burr or whatever, and it came out amazing. But they only aired it once. So now I'm trying to put out clips of it. So
okay. Do they let you do that?
Great. I don't know. We're trying to see if they will because you have to find it. I mean, you have to get the app and then find the special. So it's not like Netflix. It's not the same thing.
Right. Yeah. They don't. They wait a long time before they put it out on demand, don't they? At least that's what they do with Showtime.
They do. They do it. It takes a long time, and I really I'm putting out an album of the special in September through All Things Comedy.
Perfect.
So that's great. But I want to.
I made my fortune.
Oh yeah.
Was audio. It you'd be surprised. It does pretty well. So September you got that going, right?
Yeah, that's coming out in September.
Okay. And the clips, that's what brings people in. We don't have the attention span anymore. It's the clips. It's that 5-minute bit about something that brings people in. It's wild. We just don't. That's how long stand specials are going to be in the future.
I agree with you. I don't think they're going to be an hour. I prefer the half. I mean, mine was an hour, but I like the half-hour ones where I don't have to, because I can't listen to people for very long at all.
Yeah.
I'm too self-involved. I can't.
Well, Netflix released data on that. They said that people typically only watch the first 10 minutes and then it takes a nosedive in viewership.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. I never heard that.
Yeah. It's the same thing with YouTube. If you've ever had an hour-long video, it does that. Even with podcasts. Like by now, no one's listening. You know, they've heard Brandon talk and they shut it off.
Is that a plunger behind you, or what's that big stick?
Let's see.
That's his donkey dildo.
Yeah, it's
I want one. That's why I'm asking.
Oh yeah, it's Dave's favorite, you know, because I can go from one end to the other all at the same time.
Fucking gross,
Right.
Brandon. Gross.
Well,
He's
I can't. You
verbally
guys are
sexually
so
assaulted
not gay. I mean, people really think you're gay?
Yes, I know,
never-
right? We're a couple of schlups, especially
Yeah.
He
Got this
he
back
just
here.
shaved his beard. He used to have a beard down to his tits, and now it's gone.
Yeah, it still hasn't done anything for the looks department. It was hiding my face. That's one thing I had going for me, but Dave doesn't care about that. He loves me anyway.
Not really, no. I love it when you do things for me. Non-sexual things. Before anybody starts with that, especially you. So you got a prank call album going too, right, Jessica?
Yeah, I love to. I prank comics, which is my favorite thing. But now it's so hard to get motivated to do that shit. But I've pranked a bunch of comics. I pranked Krista Stefano as like a girl who
I heard that.
that was so funny. I was like, oh my God, I met you at a bar, and he like totally believed.
Is he going along with it too?
Oh my God, yeah. He's like, well, I have shows if you want. I'm like, yeah, we totally want to meet you. My friends are in from France and they're really hot and we want to go to your show. And he's like, where did I meet you? I'm so close with him. So it was very hard for me not to laugh.
Right. You got his permission before airing that though, right?
Yes, I got everyone's permission.
Okay.
I would never, yeah.
And he's not getting in trouble. There's not a lady out there hearing that and saying, wait a minute. Because he has a kid, doesn't he?
He does. Yes, he had a kid with his ex, and
Okay.
yeah.
So he's free to get those DM girls going, calling him up.
Oh my God! I mean, you guys, are you single? I mean, you guys rack them in. It's amazing.
You know what it is? It's that blue check mark. You get one of those, and then your DMs are flooded with, and you post pictures of a pool, and that's it. See, Brandon doesn't have either of those things. He has one of them loser accounts.
Well, Brandon could post a picture of that big stick behind him, and he might get a lot of action.
Right, but none of the kind that he wants, you know.
Yeah.
But hey, something's better than nothing. Prison rules, right, buddy?
That's
It's
right.
the quarantine. You got to lower your standards.
Any port in a storm.
But yeah, I love doing prank calls. That's what my album was. It was 4 prank phone calls.
Oh, I have to hear that. I didn't even know you did that. It's my favorite thing.
Well, I didn't really keep it a secret. I wanted to see if it would actually sell because I was trying to get a deal going with a stand-up album, an audio album that I recorded. I've talked about it on this podcast a few times. People are probably sick of it. I don't care. Listen. So I recorded the album. Like at this point, it's 2 or 3 years old, and it's outdated. But I wanted to show people that I could sell, you know, because of the internet. And that stupid 4-track album was #1 for a while on that Billboard comedy. And
wow,
people still like that. That's what I'm saying. People still like prank phone calls. And the Jerky Boys,
I know.
I got in touch with him there, Johnny Brennan. He contacted me, and he's releasing a new Jerky Boys album. I forget with who, and I don't want to say because it's not announced, but one of the bigger comedy labels is putting it out. My only issue with that is, and I'm not giving you advice or anything, but I released it completely independently, and so I got 100% of the sales. I still get 100% of the streams. In fact, that's my only source of income right now, is streaming royalties.
Right.
It's 2 years old, no one's buying it, but and I keep 100% of it. I was in talks with making a deal with one of the companies, and they wanted 50% of it.
Yeah, I know. That's the deal.
And it's like, they probably have a different deal for you, but for me, they weren't really going to put too much behind it. And I'm talking about the stand-up album, not the prank phone calls, but the stand-up album, they weren't going to really advertise it in a way that would compensate for what I couldn't bring in myself.
No, if you did it yourself and you're making money, why would you do it with anyone else? I don't, there's no point. Everyone can retweet it for you and repost it and market it. I mean, we can do so much for each other now, comics. It's like
that's what's going on. Yeah,
I know.
You
Thank
see
God.
that with Showtime and Comedy Central specials, where everybody jumps on board and tweets and retweets and posts and whatever people's specials, because it doesn't seem like there's a lot of advertising that goes into it. It's either you've got billboards all over Sunset Boulevard or nothing.
Yeah,
Like a retweet from Patton Oswalt.
I mean, I had billboards, and then it was just on once. But I was on every single. I mean, I'm not kidding. In subways in New York, and people were sending me pictures. It was insane how much they promoted it.
That's great. That's what they're supposed to do, and that's Comedy Central though.
Yes.
So they do it a little differently, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
And how did that feel, by the way, to see your face on everything and people tagging you and everything?
It was very strange, but by that point, I guess, now I'm in my 21st year, so it was my 20th year. I was like, you know what? I fucking deserve this. Like, I don't know what happened. I was just like, I'm going to enjoy this, because I always felt like, oh, I don't deserve this. I'm a piece of shit. That's how I'm very hard on myself. And I started thinking about everything I've done and every gig and driving all over the country and traveling all over the world and the shit and no money. And I was like, I deserve this. And so it was really cool to see it, because I did put in the work. But I knew, like, and then what happened was I went right to the Mall of America, to that club. What's it? The House of, no. Shit. I can't remember the name. But I'm in a mall. I went from looking at my billboards to like a Thursday night with like 25 people in the audience in the Mall of America next to a Hooters. And I'm like,
it does keep you a little humble.
Dressing. What?
It keeps you a little humble.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's what this business, I mean, this is keeping everyone humble now. Are you doing stand-up anywhere?
None. I haven't. I thought about doing one of the Zoom shows, but I just can't bring myself to do it. It's hard enough to do a podcast this way, because we used to be at this place called the Shit Shack. We have a network that has a mansion in Beverly Hills that they converted into a studio. Yep. And we drink all their booze and stay way longer than needed. And we call it a shit shack. They don't like that. We call everyone that works there a suit, and they don't like that because they're all in skinny jeans, Nikes. It's a startup.
Yeah.
And so switching to this, where I'm sitting here in my bedroom talking into a computer screen, it's an adjustment enough. But I'm at the point where my back's to the wall, and it's like, well, I can either do a Zoom show or nothing, because once the clubs open up, everyone's going to be piling in there trying to get their name on.
I know, especially in LA.
Fierce, yeah.
Like if you were in New York, it would be easier because there's so many places.
Really?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Because you're already established and probably know so many people in New York already, and that's really what it's about. But yeah, it's going to be like that. I mean, the Zoom stuff is happening. I mean, I think the clubs are starting to do some Zoom shows because they realize they're not going to be open.
Right.
To do
some clubs have a live stream of it, like they'll have the comic on stage at the club and then stream it live. I would feel more comfortable doing that than
I think I would too. Yeah. The good thing with the Zoom stuff is I do crowd work, and I don't know if you do, but I love looking at the boxes of people, and I just go off on them the whole time. So it's fun for me, because I'm like, put your fucking pants on. Like I'll talk to the people. So that can be really funny to do crowd work.
That'd be awesome. By the way, Jess, I think I got a slight delay. I'm not interrupting you. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
But yeah, that would be, I would want to do that. For those listening, Brendan and I are thinking about doing a Zoom, a weekly Zoom, because I'm part of a Zoom where people pay and they watch, and it's a bunch of comics. It's Mark Hayes' thing.
Mm-hmm.
He's got Ian Edwards is always there, and it's a fun time. But I want to do one with Brandon, and it's just roasting. We roast each other. We roast everybody watching, and you pay $5 to get in.
Yeah, I think that, see, that I've done that. Like, I produced a crowd work show, and it was a lot of fun. And I've watched Judah do it, Judah Friedlander online. I've watched some people, and I've been hysterical. I mean, like, it's so funny. It's funnier than watching someone do it in a stand-up club. So if you guys wanted to
Really?
roast and do that on Zoom, you'll have a blast. Yeah, because
Okay.
you see people up close. So it's so funny if you're good at that, because that's my thing.
Yeah.
It's like improv and crowd work. So I'd rather do that than jokes.
Right.
Yeah.
I
It's hard sitting here the entire time trying to pretend that I actually like Dave when, I have to be nice to him.
yeah, we could just bust each other's balls, and
Yeah.
people would pay money for it instead of diving deep into the podcast to hear it.
I think you should. I'm enjoying you being mean to each other. I have to be honest with you. I don't know the history of how you guys fell in love or what happened.
We met
but-
in prison.
You did?
Yeah.
That would be
Oh
amazing.
no, that's just what we tell people. I haven't been to jail for immigration listening. I'm one of the good guys. On paper, I'm the perfect immigrant. I was telling Brandon this the other day. On paper, I am the perfect immigrant. In person, not so much. Buying
Yeah.
tin cans, drinking them at 3 p.m. in the alley. They don't want that here.
In the alley.
Yeah. Yeah, my friend was like, we need to get rid of the Canadians because I know one who drinks Steel Reserve. I'm off the Steel Reserve, by the way. That's the garbage beer. That's the Four Loko of beers. And Four Loko is the meth of alcohol. But, I'll drink that and I'll eat frozen burritos. And he's like, look at that. That's the filth that Canada's bringing in. But on
Yeah.
paper, I'm perfect. I pay my taxes. I obey the law. And,
That's great.
mind my business.
Where did you guys meet? Through comedy?
No, through just online.
That sounds weird.
Yeah. That's why we tell people prison. It's a little less weird than that.
Yeah.
Prison is less weird.
Dave was on the bottom bunk, and I saw him laying there one night, and I just couldn't take my eyes
Stop
off
saying
of
I'm
him.
on the bottom. Everything. I'm on the bottom. I'm not bottom Dave. You gotta
Well,
stop hashtagging that too.
No, you were power bottom Dave, and I took out the power bottom so it didn't sound as severe. So you're just bottom Dave. It's friendly. It's inviting. Literally.
I'm not enjoying this. Stop it. Stop it. Anyways, moving along. Let's let's talk about some of this internet bullshit. So I'm not going to drop names, but about a year ago, me and some of the boys did a little bit of a cancel check on ourselves, where you find your old tweets. And some of it, you would think we were all part of the Hitler Youth, the shit that people were saying.
God.
We're talking like 2009, 2010,
Yeah.
tweets were very bad. And people know about the ones from Michael Ian Black and Patton Oswalt, not to single them out. The internet does that already, because back then that was the thing with the Gen X comics, is they were trying to be as dirty and disgusting and repulsive as they can. And that was the thing. It got like 2 likes.
Yeah.
It went under the radar, but now people are digging that shit up and flipping out about it. And it sort of teetered off when we did the cancel check sort of thing. You find comics tweets from 2009 up to about 13, and then it kind of they stopped doing that because the climate changed. People weren't as into those type of jokes, and people moved on. And so did the comedians, and that's what people are digging up now. And
I know.
I noticed that happened with you, Jesse.
It did.
Someone's digging
Well,
up some old shit. And
I did I do characters, and one of them is a black woman. I do an Asian woman. I do mostly a white girl and a white dude, and I do all kinds of my Jewish grandmother, all kinds of characters. And I had done a black woman making fun of Trump, but it's funny it was dug up. It was 4 years old, and I haven't done a video of that character because, again, like you said, times have changed, and no one ever said to me, this is not okay. So if someone said to me, this is offensive, believe it or not, I would have looked at it and said, not worth it for me. Because it wasn't worth it. It's not like a big joke I did in my special or anything. And so when it was dug up, it just looked like me doing a black woman making fun of Trump. But it could have been, if you didn't know me and didn't know what I do, you'd be like, who the fuck is this white girl? Like, it looks insane if you don't know I'm a comic or that I do characters. So it was just put up. And then people went crazy. Crazy.
Yeah, I saw that. And you had a very interesting point about how it's typically white people getting offended on behalf of other people's on behalf of other people.
Yeah, no
And
one wanted to hear that, but that is the fact with me. That is what happened in the beginning.
right, and then of course, other people chime in and say, well, actually, this offends me personally as a minority, and I feel like it's one of those things where I'm gonna comment on it because it's out there. It happened. So Megan Amram, I'm not sure if you know her, this brilliant writer. She's huge on Twitter. She works on TV shows. Very funny, very liberal, consistently. She's one of the good guys. She had a tweet from 10 years ago that said, we can't call them Asian. Don't laugh, Brandon. We can't call them Asian. Sorry, I'm butchering this. We can't call them retards anymore. We have to call them Asian Americans. And don't laugh, Brandon. Stop it. You can't stop the dump truck.
Sorry.
Anyways.
Yeah, that's a deep one. I mean, that's like So
someone
glad
dug that up, and she's done. They got her. They got Megan, one of the nicest, kindest. She's been involved with everything. She actually donates money to various organizations.
When was she done, quote unquote? Like, when did this happen?
A couple months ago. And she hasn't tweeted since. She tweeted an apology, and everyone dogpiled on her. You go on her Instagram,
I know.
Everyone's dogpiling. And it's like, that was...
Well, the other thing, too, Jessica, like you were saying, like your video, for example, was 4 years ago. It was a different time, and people accepted that in the realm of comedy. It's not like you're out on the street corner just doing it to be offensive.
Yeah, you're not like Brandon.
Shut up, Dave. And the fact that people look at that with like 20/20 eyes, and they're trying to bring something from the past into the present in order to crucify somebody, that's absolute bullshit.
Yeah, I don't agree. I don't agree with doing that, but I mean, anyone can do whatever they want to. But I've always had an issue with saying someone did something 20 years ago. I mean, it depends what it is. If they assault a child, that's a different thing.
Right.
I'm saying if there's proof, whatever, there's different layers. But to do a joke or do a character or whatever, I personally have always had an issue with canceling someone. I mean, this is serious shit. Like, I have 4 children. I have 4 daughters. I have one with heart disease. Like, this is my livelihood. I'm the only one that works in the relationship. Like, it was major. It really freaked me out. Like, when it happened, I was like, holy shit, I'm done. That's it. I'm going to lose everything I work for. And when I tell you, I describe it to, I was talking to the guys on like Legion of Skanks and whatever. It was like a hurricane came in. Like a tornado, I mean. It was like, I couldn't even believe what was going on. I mean, I was getting hundreds of people like bullying me. And I got enraged. I was like, I'm not going to say I'm a racist because I'm not. So I'm not going to say that. But I can say that I hear you. I get why it would be offensive to certain people. But it's from 4 years ago, and I don't, and then some people would not let it go. Like, I had already talked to her. We worked it out. I talked to some people offline, and there were some people on Twitter that were literally, they're like, well, I need to talk to you. I'm like, I'm not talking to you. I have nothing to say to you. It was like very young. There were like 3 of them, young, white Jewish girls. I mean, this is what happened. I'm Jewish. Like, but I was like, why are you freaking out about, like, it's okay. We talked about it. We're moving on. Go attack someone else.
I agree. Now, isn't that white privilege? White privilege is dictating what other groups of people find offensive. That is privilege. And it's only white people doing that. Now, here's the weird thing. Remember we were talking about the whole cancel check? I was squeaky clean because I joined Twitter in 2012. And I started as an SJW. I was one of those annoying fucks that were, I still do it, but I scaled it back. But back then, I was doing it before. I'm like a SJW hipster, I was into it before it was cool. And then it became ruined because I'm not okay with this. I'm not okay with doxing people and dogpiling, and there is a such thing as a fucking joke. And I'm one of those people that when it comes to comedy, it's either all okay or none of it's okay.
I'm
not
saying
you can be racist. Because if you're a racist comedian, you're not going to be getting shows. You're not going to get booked anywhere. But it's your right to go up and do it because there is a difference between telling a shitty joke and going out and doing something horrible the way Brandon always does.
Well, it is like, where is the line? I mean,
I
I
can see that. Yeah.
freaked out when it happened. I'm like, oh my God, how am I going to do characters now? How am I going to do this? I mean, it's like, and I can't do comedy and watch everything I say. I can't do it. I won't be a comic. I can't, I won't be funny.
Hmm.
I just, I can't worry about what every single person thinks about what I say.
Well, Jess, I got to tell you, the pendulum always swings the other way. So right now we're in a phase where, like, if you farted on a dog 15 years ago, they're going to come. The animal rights are going to come and they're going to show up with pitchforks. So now it's going too far to the point where you're creating
Yeah,
a demand for the off the wall, the blue comedy, whatever you want to call it, and that is what's going to prevail in the end.
that's what everyone
I
says.
think it keeps going back and
Every
forth.
comic has said that to me. They were honestly the whole comedy community. I mean, not every obviously, but a ton of people came and defended me, and they were like, "Are you kidding me? She's the nicest, kindest person. She's also like middle-aged, gay, Jewish, heavy. Like it's not. I'm not the typical person. Like I'm a minor, meaning like I'm not like the entitled white girl. I've had a lot of discrimination myself in my life,
Of course.
especially being with women, especially being gay. So
Gay and Jewish. I mean, historically, those are two very oppressed groups of people.
I say people hate us too. They just care about Jerusalem. I always say that. Like these Catholic people are like, we need to protect the Jew. No, you need to protect Jerusalem because that's where Jesus was.
Right, exactly. And that's
Yeah.
the whole thing with America taking the side of Israel is it has nothing to do with anything except that's what their base wants because they're heavily Christian and that's that's where Jesus shit his diapers when he was a kid, so that's where we
Have
got
you
to
ever
protect
been
that.
there?
No,
Oh
I'm
my
only
God.
half Jewish,
It-
so
I got to tell you, I did shows there, and I had no idea that it was so. I mean, it was like where the Last Supper was, and all this. I had no idea. I'm so clueless, but it was very Jesus heavy.
right, yeah. Well, and
Yeah.
you gotta remember too. It's a big tourist attraction to people coming
Mhm.
to see where did Jesus take a dump, where was his favorite place to fart on a dog, and so they market it that way. And I hate to say it, but it's true. It's like Disneyland, Disneyland for Jews and Christians.
There were a ton of tchotchkes. I mean, everyone was selling like little shit, like little Jesus. I
Exactly.
mean, it was
It's
worse
like the
than
Mickey Mouse ears without the ears,
Yeah. And but meanwhile, like a lot of those religious Jewish people don't accept me. I'm a sinner in their eyes. So it's just,
Isn't that the weird dichotomy where you can't, no matter what you do, you can't please everybody
yeah.
or anybody? And it's weird when you go into comedy. It's the exact same thing. You'll find your audience the longer you do it. And that's, by the way, just so you know, a lot of our audience is aspiring comedians. They're constantly asking me for advice, and I'm like, well, here's what I did. So you should do the opposite because it hasn't worked out for
Because you're in
Dave.
your living. I'm in my walk-in closet. That's how great things are going. I'm in my,
That's what 20 years gets you.
yeah. Look at this. Look, I'm in my walk-in closet.
Hey, you have a walk-in closet. That's
Yeah,
that's
I
doing
bought a
better.
house right before the world is ending now. So
Oh yeah, you bought a house. Where in New York? You live in New York, right?
yeah, I moved to Long Island
Nice.
years ago because I got stuck in a relationship, and I'm from New Jersey, so now I live like an hour from my family, which is good.
Oh,
It's
okay. That's right. Yeah,
and
Garden
I'm near
State,
the city.
directed
Yeah,
by Zach Galifianakis.
I love that you said Jalifanak. What'd you say?
Galifianakis.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
that's
he's
cool.
doing great. He's in his mansion in LA, and he.
Well, yeah, he took off, and it's shitty. Like, I keep. Oh, hang on a minute. This meeting will end in 10 minutes. Move the 40-minute. Oh, that's okay. Well, it's gonna cut us off in 10 minutes because I'm not paying for it.
You're hilarious. I
I'm
love
half Jewish, So
I love that
I'm
you're
not gonna
both as
pay if I don't
negative as
have
I
to.
am. I mean, really, people are like, "How are you?" I'm like, "Not good." Like, I'm very honest. I can't stand people right now that are like, I'm good. Things are really good.
I
It,
don't like that period with people. It's like you're lying. And why
I
are you
know.
asking? Why do you care? It's all shit. It's always been shit. Now I sound like Brandon. My life sucks. No, I'm not
Pretty
actually
much.
Brandon.
Oh, shit.
So Jessica, who'd you vote for?
Oh God, who do you think?
Trump, obviously.
Yes,
He's
twice.
You know who did vote for Trump is Brandon.
Yes.
I'm not surprised.
You know what he calls himself? This is the dumbest thing you'll ever hear. He says that he is a Trump voter, but not a Trump supporter. Brandon, explain yourself.
No, I don't. That's the thing. I don't even put labels on myself. I just say I voted for Trump because I didn't give a shit about either candidate. Had a dumpster fire on both sides. They didn't give me anybody to care about.
So who are you voting for this time?
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
Either third party or not at all.
See, that's when I said that. I get it, and I'm not judging, but that is a vote that people say that is a vote for Trump.
Yeah,
I agree. I think it is.
Well, and my response to that is everybody knows the system's fucking needs to change. So if I continue to support the system the way it is by going with the lesser of two evils, by going Biden, then nothing with the system's going to change. And that's nobody wants to go out on a limb because they're afraid, well, the other guy's going to win if I don't vote for this guy.
It's not going to change now. That's for shit sure. I mean, we have to slowly ease our way in. There's a lot of destruction. I'm saying on both sides. It's a mess right now. So someone needs to get in there and just clean it up a little until either a Republican or Democrat wins again in 4 years. I don't know what to say. It's like
ruins it forever.
Yeah, and nothing ever changes. We always end up in the spot every 4 years. We vote for the lesser of two evils, and then we're going to work on the fixing the system, and then it doesn't change, and then we get back to election time in 4 years, and we're still in the same spot again. So we either just need to completely revamp the entire political system, or burn down the White House again, I guess.
Hey, the Canadians did that back in the day.
Yeah.
Just have more of us come in running for office. You know who would have fixed it all? Bernie Sanders. I'm just saying. I know I'm clinging to the past at this point, but Bernie would have fixed it all.
I know it's hard because I get it. I really do. Like I understand why people wanted him to win, wanted him to be the candidate. The problem is he's not. So it is what it is now.
Right. Sleepy Joe. And it's wild. I'm not a big fan of him either, but it is at this point the lesser of two evils, and it's significantly less. Brandon thinks it's the same shit, different pile. It's weird that these people will chime in about how Joe Biden's a creep and he sniffs people's hair, and it's like, okay, so if you're saying that, if you're going to politicize creepy behavior and leave out the 26 very real and credible accusations against Trump, you're politicizing sexual violence. And there was that one.
Well, that is an issue. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but someone did post on, my wife was saying a friend of hers posted that Biden is a creep. He's, supposedly raped a woman. I'm like, have you seen how many women have accused Trump of assault and rape? Right. I mean, his ex-wife in court.
Right.
It's
she got paid to keep her mouth shut. So that was
right.
Everybody just sort of, and that's Trump's defense for everything, whether it's Mary Trump, his niece. He's like, well, she signed an NDA. She's not allowed to talk shit about me because she signed a contract. And it's like, right. That's your defense. And same with Stormy Daniels. She signed an NDA saying she can't talk about me leaving my nursing wife behind while I go and bang some porn stars with my mushroom dick.
Where is she? I have not heard one thing about her.
She dabbled in stand-up comedy.
I know, it makes me want to kill myself. I can't.
It's okay.
It's fine. It's fine. It's totally
she didn't pursue it. She just did it, and that's okay. How do you feel about celebrities doing the whole stand-up thing? Isn't that a little fucking weird?
Yeah, it's like, I feel like if they do it, it should be a bringer. Like I feel like they have to deal with some shit. Like they just get to walk in and go on stage.
Okay, and that's, so I'll drop his name. I don't know this guy, but Brendan Schaub, comedian, Showtime special, host of Fight.
I don't know him either at all. Yeah.
But I know a little bit about the situation where people give him shit.
Yeah.
For quote unquote jumping the line, because he was an NFL player turned UFC fighter, turned podcaster, turned comedian, and he's been doing stand-up for 3 years.
I didn't know
he's
that.
A regular at the Comedy Store.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got a Showtime special after 3 years, and people are pissed off about that. And I don't understand the hate for it because he does bring his own audience. He's got a huge following, a huge fan base that are introduced to stand-up comedy because of him, and that's only going to help comedy. So
I
getting
agree
mad at
with
him
you.
is just pure jealousy.
Agree. Yeah, I agree.
We're in a comedy boom. Like let's let her explode, you know?
I agree with that. I just think it sometimes there's like these uh actors that stopped working a lot and they're like, I'm going to do stand up, and then they go up and they're entitled. There's no humility. Like that's the kind of shit that makes me crazy. If you have humility, I'm fine with it.
Right,
But
yeah.
if you go up and you're like, yeah, I'm a comic now, it's like, no, you're take it down a notch.
Right, yeah. Yeah, it's there are two sides to it for sure. And I'm just saying if you're going to dedicate yourself to it and really throw yourself into it the way that Brendan Schaub does, all the respect, because he is putting it. He does a good enough job. He brings people out. He's enthusiastic about it, and he's trying. He's out there every single night doing it.
I'm fine with that too.
So yeah, he jumped the line a little bit. Someone accused me of jumping the line, which is hilarious because I'm like, where do you think I am now? Like what? And so all I did was I sent a picture of me 8 years ago in a fucking hotel room in the middle of like Saskatchewan, Canada, in February. It's the dead of winter, piled in a hotel bed with 5 other comics sleeping. And it's like that's what I was doing 7 years ago to get better at comedy. And I would go and perform on any stage anywhere I could. So I did that for years and years and years. And as far as jumping the line, no. I have gotten shows based on social media following.
This is business. Right. Like, I mean, I never was like that. I taught Amy Schumer. You know, she used to do private sessions with me when she first started. I mean, who gives a fuck? Like, it's business. Some people.
I'd like to take lessons from you.
I would totally work with you.
Nice.
I'm very, very, very good teacher. It's been something I've been holding back doing during this quarantine. I've had a lot of people say, can I please do it with you again? And I really should. It's hard for me to teach someone when I don't like totally dig their humor.
We got less than a minute left.
Oh shit.
Jessica, we'll continue this. But for now,
anytime.
Where do we find you online?
So I am on Instagram at Jessica Kirson, and I have a podcast called Relatively Sane, which I would love you to do. And I'm on Twitter, and I'm all over. You just Google my name.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on. You provided a lot of insight, and we're very hilarious. It's good to have someone funny instead of Brandon.
Thank you, Jesse. I appreciate you being here.
Oh. Both. I love your pseudo gay relation. It's really
it's not pseudo. Well, do you give us an honorary medal here?
Yes, I like that you're open to it, but it's not happening. It's fine.
We are the Valley Boys. Thanks for listening. Good night.
Thank you very much.
Shut up, Brandon.